Have you ever felt like life glitched for just a second? Like the world repeated itself? Almost as if time pressed rewind? Maybe you've seen the same moment happen twice, or felt like you were living a scene you had already lived before. It's a strange, unsettling feeling, like the universe is showing you something it doesn't want you to forget. Noah lived in a quiet little town where everything felt normal. The streets were the same every day, the mornings calm, the evenings predictable. He knew the people, the shops, the rhythm of life. But one day, he started noticing small things that didn't make sense. It began with a man in a long black coat. Noah saw him standing by the river one morning. Later that same day, the same man appeared near the market. And by evening, there he was again, by the fountain, without ever seeming to move between places. 3 times, 3 spots, the same person, the same expression, like a shadow copied and pasted across his day. Then came the bird. Every morning, right at dawn, a little sparrow flew past Noah's window. At first, he thought nothing of it. But then he realized it was flying the exact same way every day. The same curve, the same wing turn, the same dip in the air. Not natural, not random, just the same, over and over again like a recording stuck on repeat. At first, Noah tried to laugh it off. He told himself he was overthinking, that maybe it was just coincidence. But the more he noticed, the more impossible it became to ignore. The cafe door always squeaked in the same rhythm each morning, like someone pressing play on the same sound. Clouds in the sky would take on the same shape, fade, and then return the next day in exactly the same form. Even when Noah walked alone, footsteps echoed behind him in the exact same pattern, yet no one was there. He kept quiet, afraid people would think he was crazy. But inside, the questions grew louder. Why does everything feel like it's repeating? Why do these small glitches keep happening around me? Am I the only one seeing it? At night, he lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling the world humming like a machine running in loops. His little town, once so warm and familiar, now felt like a stage play repeating the same script. The smiles, the greetings, even the sound of laughter, it all seemed programmed. And then the thought struck him. What if this world isn't as real as it looks? What if all these glitches aren't mistakes, but signs? Signs that the truth was far bigger and far stranger than anyone around him could imagine. Noah couldn't keep these strange glitches to himself any longer. The questions inside him grew heavier each day, and silence only made the weight worse. So he turned to the only person he trusted with such thoughts, an old friend, a philosopher, who had spent his life reading ancient books and asking timeless questions. They sat together in a quiet room lit by a single lamp. Noah hesitated before speaking, but the words finally broke free. Something isn't right. I see things repeating. People, birds, even the sky. It's like life itself is on a loop. The old man listened carefully, his face calm, his eyes steady, as if he had been waiting for Noah to say these words all along. After a long silence, he leaned forward and whispered a line that had survived for centuries. All that we see, or seem, is but a dream within a dream. The words settled into Noah's mind like a seed, impossible to ignore. A dream within a dream. Could it be true? Was his world just layers of illusions stacked on top of each other, dressed up to look like reality? The philosopher reminded him that people had been asking the same question for thousands of years. Plato spoke of prisoners in a dark cave, chained so tightly they could only watch shadows on the wall, believing the shadows were the whole of reality. Descartes wondered if a powerful trickster might be fooling all of our senses, making us believe in a world that wasn't real. Even poets had asked, if life feels like a dream, who can say whether we are awake or asleep? Noah sat in silence, feeling the weight of history pressing down on him. He realized he was not the first to doubt the world around him. generation after generation had looked at reality and wondered, is this real, or just a picture painted for my eyes? The more Noah thought about it, the more everything began to blur. The houses in his town, the laughter of children, the food on his table. All of it suddenly seemed fragile, as though one push could make it fall apart. Was he holding on to a solid world, or gripping tightly to nothing but smoke? That night, Noah walked home under the stars, but even the stars felt uncertain. He looked at the sky and wondered, do these lights burn with real fire? Or are they only sparks in a grand illusion? Is the ground beneath my feet true earth, or is it only a stage floor in some larger story? And then came the scariest thought of all. If the world around him was not real, then what about himself? Was he real? Or was he also just part of the script, lines of code running in a story he did not control? Noah's heart raced, but strangely, he also felt calm. Because in that moment he understood something important. The doubts he carried were not madness. They were echoes of ancient doubt, questions asked by thinkers long before him, whispered through time, now reaching his ears. And maybe, just maybe, those echoes were leading him toward a truth that had been waiting for him all along. The old philosopher's words echoed in Noah's mind for days. All that we see is but a dream within a dream. It was haunting, yes, but also strangely comforting. If ancient minds had doubted the world, then maybe Noah wasn't alone in his questions. But he wanted more than old wisdom. He wanted answers that could face the modern world. Answers rooted not only in poetry, but also in reason, in science. And that's when he discovered a new idea, one that shook him even deeper than the glitches. The simulation hypothesis. Noah had first heard the phrase in passing, dismissed it as just another science fiction story. But now, as he sat late at night with books and articles spread before him, the idea hit with terrifying clarity. The theory was simple to understand, yet impossible to forget. If advanced civilizations can create computer simulations of entire worlds, detailed enough that conscious beings arise within them, then the odds say we are probably living in one of those simulations right now. He read the words of a modern thinker who explained it plainly. If just one advanced civilization in the universe created millions of simulations, then the number of fake worlds would be far greater than the number of real ones. So, which is more likely? That we are in the single real world, or in one of the countless simulations? The math alone tilted toward the unsettling answer. We are more likely simulated than not. Noah leaned back in his chair, feeling his pulse in his temples. Was this science? Or was it another story, another dream stacked on a dream? Yet the logic was hard to escape. If humans today can build games that look almost real, if we can already create digital landscapes that fool the eye, then what about civilizations thousands or millions of years ahead of us? Wouldn't their creations be so perfect, so flawless, that the people inside them would never know? He thought of his town, the repeating bird, the man in the black coat, the cloud that shaped itself the same way, day after day. Were these not the fingerprints of a program, small cracks in a grand illusion? He remembered standing by the cafe, hearing the exact same sound of the door squeak, like an audio file replayed each morning. Could it be the world's background noise was simply looping? Could the glitches be the software struggling to cover its tracks? Noah's imagination spiraled. He wondered, was his body real flesh or lines of data? Were his thoughts born in a living brain or processed through some higher machine? Was every heartbeat just another tick in a cosmic clock, a number in an equation? The idea was both terrifying and strangely liberating. Terrifying, because if life was only a simulation, then everything he touched might be an illusion. But liberating, because maybe that meant there was something beyond, something greater than this stage. Noah walked the streets that night with new eyes. Every face he passed, every sound he heard, he wondered, are you real? Or are you coded? Do you laugh because your soul is alive, or because your program tells you to? He thought about history, about how humanity itself had once believed the Earth was the center of the universe. That illusion had been shattered. Then we thought our galaxy was the only one. That, too, was shattered. Again and again, what we believed to be the whole truth turned out to be only a fraction of reality. So, why not this? Why not the possibility that even the universe itself is not the final truth, but just another layer? The questions swarmed him. But in the middle of them all, a strange peace began to grow. Because maybe the truth didn't need to be frightening. Maybe it could be wondrous. If his world was real, then it was precious. And if it was simulated, then it was still a miracle that such detail, such beauty, such emotion could exist inside it. He looked up at the night sky. The stars blinked gently, shining across the vast darkness. Were they balls of fire, or just lights in a code? It didn't matter, because they still glowed, and glow was enough. For the first time, Noah understood. The question wasn't only, is it real? The deeper question was, does it matter? Noah had carried the weight of his questions long enough. The glitches, the whispers of philosophers, the theories of scientists, each one was a wave pressing harder against the walls of his reality. And then, one night, the wall finally broke. E began in the simplest way. He was walking home beneath a quiet sky. The streets of his little town washed in the pale glow of street lamps. The air felt heavy, too still, as though the world itself was holding its breath. And then he saw it. On the far side of the street, near the edge of the old library, there was something strange. At first, it looked like a shimmer, like heat, rising from pavement on a summer day. But the night was cool. No heat, no fire, no reason for the air to ripple. And yet it wavered before his eyes, bending light in a way that made the brick wall behind it look broken, unfinished, incomplete. Noah's heart pounded. Every instinct told him to turn away, to go home, to bury the sight with sleep and denial. But curiosity, deeper than fear, pulled him closer. Step by step, he moved toward the shimmer, and with each step, the air seemed to hum louder, like a hidden engine waking from slumber. Then it happened. As his hand reached out, the wall that had always felt solid cracked. Not like stone breaking, not like glass shattering, but like a picture tearing at the edges. A thin line of light spread across it, glowing white and pure, splitting the world open. Noah gasped as the crack widened. The street, the lamplight, even the sound of crickets, all peeled away like wallpaper, revealing something behind it. And then, before he could stop himself, Noah stumbled forward and fell through. Silence. Endless silence. The world he had known was gone. When his eyes opened, he was no longer standing on a street. He was floating, or maybe standing, or maybe simply existing, inside a vast white void. There was no ground, yet he did not fall. There was no ceiling, yet the space stretched upward forever. There was no sound, except the quiet rhythm of his own breath echoing in eternity. Noah turned, searching for the town, for the wall, for any trace of the world he had left. But behind him, there was nothing. No doors, no streets, no sky. Just white. Endless, perfect white. At first, fear clawed at him. What if he had broken the world? What if he had stepped outside of everything and was now trapped in this blank nothingness forever? But then, another feeling came. Peace. A strange, overwhelming peace, as though the void itself was not empty, but alive. It was not silence. It was listening. Not nothingness. It was waiting. The blankness felt like the pause between words, the stillness before music begins. Noah took a slow breath, and for the first time, he did not feel like he was falling out of reality. He felt like he was finally standing in the place where reality began. Noah stood in the endless white. The void stretched in all directions, yet it didn't feel empty. It felt alive, as if every inch of space carried a quiet heartbeat, pulsing with hidden meaning. He waited, unsure of what to do, unsure if he should speak or stay silent. And then, it came. Not a sound, not at first, but a knowing. A presence entered the space, gentle yet vast, invisible yet undeniable. It felt like standing in sunlight you could not see but could feel warming your skin. It was intelligence. It was awareness. It was someone. And then, words unfolded. Inside Noah's mind, not spoken by lips, but carried directly into his soul. You have seen the seams. You have noticed what others overlook. You are awake in a place where most remain asleep. Noah's breath caught in his chest. His voice trembled as he whispered aloud, "Who are you?" The presence responded with calm clarity. "I am the architect of your world. I am the designer, the builder, the keeper of the simulation in which you live." Noah staggered back, his heart racing. The words struck like thunder, yet they were spoken with gentleness, like a teacher easing a child into the truth. For a long moment, he could only stare into the blank horizon, struggling to understand. Finally, he managed to whisper, "So, everything I've known. My town, the people I love, the sky above me. None of it is real." And the architect replied, not with cruelty, but with something close to kindness. "They are real to you. Their laughter, their pain, their joy, these things matter, even if they are born of code. A dream is still experienced as life by the dreamer. An illusion can still hold truth if you choose to live within it." Noah felt his knees weaken, as if the weight of all existence was pressing down upon him. Tears welled in his eyes. "So, why?" he asked. "Why create a world like this? Why build an illusion and place me inside it?" The void pulsed, almost like a slow breath, and then the answer came. "Because creation seeks to know itself. We build these worlds not to trap you, but to watch you grow. We craft realities so that souls may learn who they are, when given a stage upon which to live." Noah's thoughts swirled. The philosophers had suspected, the scientists had guessed, but to stand here, to hear it from the architect itself, was beyond anything he could have imagined. He asked again, voice shaking, How many like me are there? How many worlds have you created?" And the architect answered, "Countless. Universes beyond universes, each layered within the other like reflections in a mirror. Some worlds are gentle, some are harsh, some are wondrous, some are cruel. Every simulation is a question, and every life inside it is an answer." Noah's mind reeled at the thought. All those lives, all those people, entire civilizations living and dying, never knowing they were inside a story. "Do they ever find out?" he asked softly. The presence shifted, like the faint smile of a voice without a face. "Most do not. Most live their days unaware, and that is as it should be. Awareness changes everything. To see the code is to carry a burden not all are ready to bear." Noah swallowed hard, his voice breaking. "Then why me? Why did I see the glitches? Why was I allowed to step outside?" The architect replied, "Because you looked. Because when the pattern repeated, you did not turn away. You allowed doubt to grow into wonder and wonder into courage. Few dare to question their reality so deeply. Fewer still follow the questions to the edge. You are unusual, Noah. you are awake where others sleep." A silence followed, vast and heavy. Noah lowered his head, feeling both honored and terrified. If he was awake in the dream, then what was he meant to do with this knowledge? Finally, he asked the question that weighed most on his heart. What is real? Beyond this? If this is a simulation, then what lies outside? What lies beyond you? For the first time, the architect's voice slowed, thoughtful, almost tender. Even we do not know. We too may be inside another simulation. We too may be creations of a greater mind. Reality may be infinite, a fractal of worlds within worlds, dreams within dreams. There may be no final layer, no ultimate truth, only endless creation, reflecting itself forever. The words sent shivers through Noah's body. The thought was overwhelming, yet strangely beautiful. Reality was not a single stage, but an infinite hall of mirrors, each one holding a story, each one holding lives that believed themselves real. Noah stood in silence for what felt like eternity, his chest rising and falling in slow, heavy breaths. And then, with quiet courage, he spoke, "If all of this is an illusion, then what should I do with my life? What meaning is there if nothing is truly real?" The architect's answer was soft, almost like a whisper carried on the wind. "The meaning is what you give it. Whether real or simulated, every act of kindness still heals. Every moment of love still matters. Every choice you make shapes the world around you. Illusion or not, your life has weight because you believe in it, and belief is the seed of reality itself." Noah closed his eyes. For the first time since the glitches began, his fear began to fade. Not because he had all the answers, but because he understood this. Even inside an illusion, life could still hold truth. And truth, even dressed in code, was still worth living for. Noah stood in the white expanse, heart steady but mind racing. He had seen the seams of reality. He had met the architect. He had heard truths that stretched beyond the stars, beyond imagination itself. But now came the hardest part. Not learning, not seeing, but deciding. The architect's presence filled the void like a calm ocean, endless and still. Its voice flowed into Noah, gentle yet unshakable. "You cannot stay here forever. Every soul must choose." Noah's breath caught. "Choose what?" he whispered, and the answer came, unfolding slowly like doors opening one by one. "You may remain here in the void, outside of the illusion. You will carry truth, but you will be alone. You will never again touch the laughter of children or feel the warmth of sunlight. You will stand free, but in emptiness." The words pressed against Noah's chest like a cold wind. Alone in eternity, free from illusion, yet cut off from every joy he had ever known. The architect continued, "Or you may return to your world. You may re-enter the simulation as if none of this happened. Your memory will be erased. You will live peacefully inside the illusion, believing it is real, never again burdened by the weight of these questions." Noah closed his eyes. To go back, to forget. How tempting it sounded. To wake tomorrow in his bed, to hear the morning bird, to greet his neighbors as though nothing had changed. To live in blissful ignorance, free from doubt, free from the heavy truth. But deep inside, something resisted. He knew he could not unsee what he had seen. Even if his memory was erased, the world would still be fragile, still be written, still be code. Could he truly be happy knowing that part of him once knew the truth, but chose to bury it? He opened his eyes, and the void shimmered softly, as if waiting. The architect spoke once more. "There is a third path, the rarest of all. You may return to your world with memory intact. You will walk among those who sleep, knowing what lies beyond. But you must carry that knowledge with care. You cannot expose the illusion openly, for it would bring chaos. You must live with the truth silently, using it not to destroy, but to guide. Noah's breath shook. This was the heaviest choice of all, to know, and yet to remain among those who did not know. To live each day aware of the fragile seams of reality, yet to act with kindness, to love deeply, to cherish each moment, precisely because he knew it was fleeting. He thought of the faces he loved, the children in the street, the old baker with flour on his hands, the neighbors who greeted him each morning. Illusion or not, their smiles had touched him. Their laughter had lifted him. Their sorrow had mattered to him. Even if they were lines of code, they were lines written beautifully. Even if they were illusions, they were illusions that had given him meaning. The architect's voice deepened, calm as stone. So decide, Noah. Eternal solitude in truth, peaceful ignorance in illusion, or the burden of memory carried with grace inside the dream. Noah stood still for a long time. The void stretched around him, endless and silent, as if the universe itself was holding its breath, waiting for his answer. His heart wrestled with fear, longing, and hope, but slowly clarity began to bloom. He spoke at last, voice steady. I will return, but not in ignorance, not with memory erased. I will go back carrying the truth. I will live inside the illusion, but I will live awake. And if I cannot tell the world, then I will show it, through kindness, through compassion, through the way I choose to live. The void pulsed softly, almost like approval. The architect's voice answered with gentle certainty. Then you have chosen the hardest path, and the most human one. To know the truth, yet to love the dream. To see the code, yet to cherish the story it tells. Few souls are strong enough for such a choice. Walk with care, Noah, and remember, whether illusion or reality, meaning comes from how you choose to live. Noah bowed his head, a tear slipping down his cheek. For the first time, the fear inside him was gone, not because the world was simple, but because he knew, even in illusion, life could be lived with truth. The void shimmered. Light wrapped around him, warm and radiant, pulling him gently back toward the world he had left. And, as the architect's presence faded, one final whisper followed him. Awake and live well, Noah. That is the only truth that matters. Noah felt the light close around him like a blanket. It was warm, yet weightless, pulling him gently away from the endless white void. The architect's final whisper still echoed in his heart. Awake and live well. That is the only truth that matters. Then, slowly, the light dimmed. The void dissolved, and Noah opened his eyes. He was back. The streets of his town stretched before him, quiet and familiar. The cobblestones were the same. The cafe door stood where it always had. The fountain glistened softly in the morning air. Nothing looked different. And yet, everything was different. Because Noah's eyes were no longer the eyes of a man who believed. They were the eyes of a man who knew. The first thing he noticed was the air. It carried the same crisp scent of dawn. But now, he felt it as if each particle was alive, a gift delivered directly to his lungs. The sound of footsteps in the distance, once a loop that haunted him, now felt like music. Repeated, yes, but still beautiful. The sparrow appeared at the edge of his vision, sweeping across the sky in the same perfect arc as before. And for the first time, Noah did not feel fear. He smiled, because he understood now. The bird did not have to be new each day to be meaningful. Even if it repeated, even if it was written, its flight was still graceful. Its call still touched the heart. Its presence was still a miracle, whether born of flesh or code. As Noah walked through the streets, the people he passed seemed brighter. The old baker, dusting flour from his hands, greeted him with a smile. That smile, maybe programmed, maybe written, but to Noah it was still real, because it warmed him, because it mattered. Children played by the fountain, laughing in circles. Their laughter echoed in the air, familiar and patterned, yet it rang like pure gold. He watched them chase each other in the morning sun, and he thought, even if their joy is scripted, is it any less joy? The sky above glowed with dawn. A sunrise Noah had seen countless times before, painted in the same soft colors, unfolding in the same slow rhythm. But this morning, the light felt different. The orange horizon did not just paint the sky, it painted his soul. For the first time, he did not take it for granted. Simulated or not, the sunrise was beautiful, and beauty was enough. Noah stopped in the center of town and closed his eyes. He breathed in deeply, as though tasting life itself. He understood now what the architect had meant. The meaning of life was not in whether it was real or illusion. The meaning was in how you lived it, in the kindness you gave, the love you shared, the courage you carried. The truth was not meant to crush him. It was meant to free him. And so Noah walked on, carrying his secret quietly, gently. He would not shout it. He would not tear down the illusion. Instead, he would live awake inside the dream. He would love more deeply. He would cherish each moment as though it were the only one. He would walk through the simulation not as a prisoner, but as a witness. And as he looked once more at the sparrow, still looping its perfect arc, Noah whispered softly to himself, "It doesn't matter if you are written. You are still alive. In me." He turned his face toward the rising sun, eyes glistening, heart steady. The world around him flickered faintly at the edges, just for a moment, a tiny reminder of the code beneath. But instead of fear, Noah felt gratitude. For even in illusion there was wonder, and even in a dream there was meaning. Life is a strange mystery. We are born into it without a map, without a guidebook, without any memory of where we came from or why we are here. We wake up as children, trusting the world is solid, that the sun will rise, that the ground beneath our feet is unshakable. But sometimes, if we are quiet enough, if we are curious enough, we notice the cracks in the painting, moments that do not add up, patterns that seem too perfect to be chance, echoes of repetition that whisper, "Look, closer." Noah looked closer, and what he found changed everything. He discovered that life may not be as real as we believe, that the town he loved, the people he greeted, the skies he admired, might all be a simulation, a dream, a story written in code. And yet, he also discovered something far greater. That meaning does not come from whether something is real or fake. Meaning comes from how it feels. Meaning comes from how we choose to live it. Think about it. When you laugh with a friend, does it matter if the world is coded or physical? When you hold the hand of someone you love, does it matter if the atoms are made of matter or of mathematics? When a sunrise paints the horizon in gold, does it matter if it's fire burning in the sky or pixels glowing in a simulation? The warmth still touches you. The beauty still stirs your heart. The love still feels alive. Noah came to understand what the architect tried to teach him. Life is precious not because it is guaranteed to be real, but because we experience it as real. Joy matters because we feel it. Sorrow matters because it shapes us. Love matters because it connects us. Whether this is the base reality or just one layer in an infinite hall of mirrors, what matters is that we are here now, and that is enough. Noah chose the hardest path, the path of memory. He returned to his world not blind, not erased, but awake. He walks among those who sleep, carrying truth in silence. He does not shout it. He does not try to tear away the curtain. Instead, he lives with open eyes, loving more deeply, cherishing more gently, forgiving more easily. Because he knows every moment is fragile, every moment is a gift, and every moment, whether real or not, is worth living fully. So perhaps the question is not, is this life real? Perhaps the question is, will you live it as if it is? If we treat each day as sacred, does it matter whether it is built of atoms or algorithms? If we choose kindness, if we create beauty, if we seek truth, then maybe that is the highest purpose of any reality. Noah's journey is not only his, it is ours. We too notice small glitches, those moments of wonder, those flashes of doubt, those whispers of mystery in the corner of our vision. And, like Noah, we too are invited to look closer. But remember this: even if the universe is an illusion, your love is not. Even if the world is code, your choices still echo forever. Even if everything fades one day, the meaning you give it will remain. So live, love, laugh, forgive. Dream boldly, even if the dream is written, because the dreamer, you, are real in the only way that matters. And when you look at the sky, if you see it flicker, if you notice a seam, if you sense that reality is only a story wrapped in light, smile. For you have seen the truth, and still you choose to live. That is the miracle. That is the purpose. That is the beauty of the simulated sanctuary.